guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Okay, so it's not a chaser, it's a Trailscout. I went in today to our local place. It's actually right in Powassan, so even if you're watching this video and you are from Powassan, because I do have some Powassan people sub to my channel, if you're looking for pellet guns, Brushies is carrying pellet guns. Right now they're selling like candy. I actually went back for the chaser this morning, well actually this afternoon. And while I was in there, a guy was buying it, and I'm like, no! But it's okay. Apparently he's got more coming in, and in the 22 cal version, so I'll definitely be getting my hands on a 22 cal one. And then eventually, possibly the 177. However, he did have the Trailscout there as well. This was actually the second last air gun he's got in the store today. He's been selling them like crazy. I thought, well, you know, why not? I looked these things up a little bit. Now, you'll see that there's a mod suppressor on this picture. Because I live in Canada, or we live in Canada, we're not allowed to have silencers or moderators or suppressors. I don't know why. Anyway. But this is a non-PAL version as well. Okay, so no problem there. If you want to go after the PAL rated version, they're rated for 600 and some odd FPS. Actually, the actual specs are on the back of this. If it was, it'd be 660 in a 177, 560 in a 22. But this is the 495 version, so we'll see how close it gets because we're going to Chrony it on this video. Now, this also comes with the multi-shot mag as well. And the breech is dovetail, so 11mm dovetail on this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull some pieces out. So we have the manual for the Trailscout here. It's got a few different languages in it as well. Now this thing also has an adjustable trigger too, which is cool. So there's our little mag. So we can go multi-shot, so just boom, boom, stay on target, right? Great. We'll have to try that out at a later date, but not in the next video or two. I want to work with the single shot first. They do give you a little baggie of extra seals for the gun. Quite a few seals actually in here, which is kind of cool. Now while I was at the store, of course, we did ignite a couple of bottles in it. It does hold 3 bottles, so I wanted to make sure there's nothing wrong with the gun. So we did throw 3 bottles in it because that's what it uses. No less than 3 bottles. You can't even put two good bottles and a dead bottle in this thing. Apparently, from what I've heard, it's not going to run very well, if at all, unless it has those 3 bottles. It has to have enough compression to bulk fill the tube to equalize things as they go down. And if you have an empty bottle in there, apparently the gun either doesn't fire or barely fires. I have no idea. There's not many videos actually on YouTube on this particular rifle. I think that's everything from the box. So let's scoot that over there. A couple of extra bottles there. So this is our Scout. Now the extension piece here is not a crank handle. You actually have to have it bent over because it's going to pierce the bottles once you snug everything up here. And there is an O-ring on this cap that you have to be aware of. Okay. Now, to get this thing tightened up all the way, it's hard to do it by finger. We actually rifled through the collection of Allen keys that he had, and we found one that fit one of the Allen key holes, and we used that as an extra pry to make sure that the O-ring was seated properly and not showing through, because otherwise you could have a problem if it's not tight enough. It could blow that O-ring out and piss all your gas out, and there goes $3 worth of gas. So just be aware of that. I would not recommend using pliers on there to tighten it because you'll just mar it all up and it'll look ugly too. I would definitely recommend an Allen key that fits one of these Allen keys grub screws, and then just use that as the extra crank you need till it stops on its own, just like stiff. Don't try to over tighten because you can't. It's only going to screw in so far and that's it. Anyway, so we have the cocking handle actually on the correct side for me. The chaser, the cocking handle, is actually on the left-hand side of the gun. This is kind of the normal way. So for me as a left-handed shooter, I can sit here and just pull it back, load my pellet, away I go, close it, and voila. Now this also has safety decocking, so you can actually pull in the trigger and safety decock it, which is good. I like that feature. This being a rifle, there's, you know, it's nothing like the Chaser. This is an actual rifle, so you don't have to worry about, oh, you know, changing barrels out and wearing out O-rings, okay? But it is the exact same breech, except, like I said, the bolt is on the other side on this one. It is an interesting gun. It is extremely lightweight, very thin too, which is nice. I mean, there's like, this is like for a shooting gun, even for a kid can handle this thing. So if you're thinking about training your kids for air rifles, you know, this is a quality gun. Diana is a very high quality product line, and they don't break the bank on their lower end stuff. This one retails for about $250 new, which is actually, I think, pretty fair. Now I'm talking Canadian dollars, of course. Alright, so you're on my channel, it's Canadian. Now, where the suppressor silencer would normally go, this has a screw-off metal cap. So you could actually get a regular muzzle brake if you wanted that extra snipery look, and get a muzzle brake that's threaded and put it on here. That could be done. I don't see any reason why not. In fact, once I get a lathe again, I will be producing a screw-on muzzle brake for this thing, because I want this more snipery look. You know, it just doesn't quite have that look without that thing on there, right? But we can't have suppressors or silencers, so. You do have adjustable windage and elevation on the rear sight, fixed front sight, of course, on this. Being that it's all black, I would probably recommend painting the tip at least white, so that you can actually see where you're lining up your target with. You know, it's the one thing about black front sights that kind of bother me. But pretty impressive so far. Does have a cross block safety here. Okay. Just a really nice gun. I mean, it's very nice. So, anyways, without further ado, I'm going to test out 3 pellet weights. 7.4 grain Premier pointed pellets, 7 grain hobby pellets, and some 5.5 grain Excite by H&N pellets. But in case you're wondering though, to install the mag, it's as simple as slide it out, it's held in by a magnet, and slide the mag right in like so. And that's it. You're ready to rock. Too simple. And then I think this one has what, like 9 shots or something? 8 or 9 shots, somewhere around there. We'll get to that in another video. I want time to play with the mag to learn how to load it and use it before I do that on video for you guys, so I can give you also a good walkthrough on the mag, and then I'll fire it off a few times and we'll do a video specific to this mag. And you can get extra mags too. They're like, I think they're about 20 bucks or 22 bucks in Canada, you know. But as far as other places to buy this thing from, you can get this from airgunsource.ca, and dnlairgun.com is another place that I deal with in Canada. But like I said, I got this locally from Brushy's, just down on what is it, Main Street in Powassan, which is, like I said, it's a couple of kilometers, so it's a couple of minutes drive for me from where I live in the country here. It's great. Anyways, instant for you, and we'll be out in the shop. Okay guys, so we are out here ready to rock. So let's start with our Crosman Premier pointed 7.4 grain Premier pellets. We're going to put 3 shots of each pellet through. This thing should get some amazing shot count too, because I know the Chaser was very stable for a lot of shots. So we're $4.99 on that one. That's pretty close to our 500. 507. So it's definitely going to need a little bit of break-in time. 498. So we're within specs. Alright, some really light hobby pellets. Now lighter is faster, and we are allowed to use lighter pellets than normal. Wow, that was $4.93. That actually sucked. maybe it doesn't get as good gas usage as the Chaser. 491. Oh, it could be the way they fit. They are a little tighter pellet. 492. Are we sure these are 7 grain? Oh yeah, that's 7 grain. They do click tight into the breech though. The pointed pellets go in real easy. Let's try another pointed pellet just for giggles. Yeah, 489. So it's going to have a little quicker drop off, I think, than the Chaser. Well, let's try some 5.5 grain pellets. Error. .516 with a 5.5 grain. That's about what I expected. .509. .512. So just a hair over 5. Let's go back to one of these pointed pellets. Tube temperature is good. 493. So we're under the 500, which is good. You know, that's where it should be anyhow. It is rated for 495. They don't say up to either. It's just 495. So, anyways, so that's our Chrony test. So I think, you know what, we're going to add an accuracy test into this video, but I'm going to go sight in the gun first, and it'll still be instant for you guys, and then we'll see what we can do. Now I'm going to try with the Crosman pointed premieres and see what it does, and if it gets fairly accurate, I'm more worried right now about a grouping than getting dead bullseyes. I am doing this on iron sights, and it will be at 10 meter range that we're going to be doing this at. So instant for you guys. Alright guys, so all I've done is raise the elevation up a little bit. Didn't shoot it yet. I'm going to do this all same time and see how we do. Now from the factory, Diana actually put the notch for the windage right dead in the middle. But let's see what kind of a grouping we can achieve if we can get enough height here first. Well, that kind of hit the backboard. Thinking I'm still probably on the low side still. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm just way too high. So, let's put it back to factory setting. Okay, that's a little high, and it's a little to the left. That's not bad. So, just making a couple little adjustments here. Okay, so you actually need to bring that down a little lower. Alright, let's take another shot at this. I'm definitely going to have to put a scope on this regardless. I'm going to check and see where that one went. Because I aimed to the bottom of the block pretty much. It actually has to move a little to the right. It's not bad. That's low and to the left. This thing may not like pointed Crossman pellets either, but it does have an extremely hairy trigger on it though. You could probably sneeze and this thing would go off, and this is factory setup. Take a couple more shots, see where we're sitting at. Looks like I'm staying in the black. I have such a hard time seeing the target from 10 meters, so if there's any kind of spread that looks a little out, that is gonna be me. I think one more shot. Alright, let's go check out our target. Oh, we got a couple in the same spot. Could have been much better though. I don't think it likes Crossman pellets though. We're going to have to try another pellet for grouping. So, don't consider this a full accuracy test. It was just we're going to call it a test of the gun. Accuracy will come after. I'm going to have to find a pellet that this thing likes, because right from there, there's no way it likes the Crossman pellets. So, we'll have to see. But in the meantime, we'll continue on. But so far I really like the gun. It's very nice and quiet. The trigger is extremely hairy. That is like so super light. That's craziness. But that's the kind of trigger I like. Getting to figure out these sights though, I'm going to have to figure that out. Oh, I see how this works. So if we loosen off this side, this is an interesting rear sight, guys. Okay. I want to show you guys something here. So on your rear sight here, you've got this screw here, and you've got the same screw on the other side. So whichever way you need to adjust your windage, you have to loosen off one side about a turn or so, and then use the other screw to move it to the direction you need. That is actually quite ingenious. That'll actually force it to stay on. Now you can also remove this sight completely, and that's also a grooved portion in here. So if you wanted to mount a scope between here and here, you could, or you can stick with the breech itself. So that's kind of a neat little rear sight setup. That's cool. I like that. Anyway, so I'm going to find some pellets. So stay tuned for a full accuracy video. And of course we will have a review in the end as well.